What's going on, everybody? Car Guy V8 here with another video, and it's finally time to start working on this 82 Cutlass, and we're going to try to fix a bunch of the little issues that it has this video. We're going to replace the broken oil pressure gauge. We're going to try to fix a major oil leak that it has, new plug wires, and some other stuff in this video. But I think we're going to start out by cleaning this nasty engine bay, so let's jump right into this. So I'm going to start off today with cleaning up the engine bay a little bit. It's pretty dirty under here, so I'm just going to grab some rags, water, and a little bit of oil to shine it up at the end. So hopefully this engine bay will clean up a good bit. The engine bay is already looking so much better. Oil always just shines everything up nice. And while I was cleaning it, I noticed the next thing I need to do. You can see the coolant reservoir spout broke on the bottom. It was already brittle, it looks like, but I must have put the finishing touch on it. And I also need to remove this driver's side valve cover. Whenever I was adding a quart to it the other day, I noticed it was low on oil. I was adding a quart and I noticed half of it ended up on the ground after I'd already poured the quart in because it was leaking from the back corner of the valve cover. So there's definitely still some stuff I've got to do in this video before we can really take it out for a good drive. We're going to go ahead and pull off this driver's side valve cover. Wow, those were really loose, so that might actually be why it was leaking in the first place. You know, it's leaking right back in that corner. That's real common. Oh yeah, this thing's... Let's get that off. All right, I'll take this in on the workbench and see what we got. So the gasket's in decent shape. I really think it was just way too loose. So I'm going to put this back on carefully and I'm going to torque it to spec. Some of those were barely over finger tight, so especially the one back here, it was loose. I'm just going to be real careful throwing this back in if I can. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and pull off the coolant reservoir that I broke. I'll probably just pick up another hose. I didn't pick up the exact one. That's a little Dorman coolant reservoir. I usually prefer to use them, but they did not have one at O'Reilly's, so I just picked up this little universal one here, so we'll try it out. I don't think I like it quite as much just from the my first impressions of it, but it's just a cheap reservoir, so it doesn't really matter that much. I'll reuse this one. So we've got our new oil pressure gauge here. We're gonna go ahead and hook it up. I'm gonna cut just a tiny bit off this old one just to get the old brass fitting off. I did not want to use that in our brand new sending unit there. Put this through. You might wonder why I'm not using the ratcheting part of the wrench. That's because it's broke and it'll spin both ways once you get any kind of torque on it. All right, now time for the real test to see if it works. Works good. So now we're going to change all the plug wires. I actually got the Summit Racing blue wires this time. I've never bought these before, but I'm a big fan of the Summit Racing wires. I've used them in the past, and they come with some really good plug wire separators. So we're going to go ahead and remove all these old plugs. I noticed, I don't know how old they are, but they're real gunky, and I like pretty engine bays for some reason. Here's the engine with the Summit blue spark plug wires, and it looks sharp. I didn't actually use the plug separators today. If I decide to put them on, it will be on a day when there's not a million mosquitoes out like today. But that's pretty much all I'm doing to the engine this video. I still got to do an oil change, but my oil filter hasn't made it in, so I'll just do that off camera sometime. And the spark plugs, they looked good when I pulled them out. So the spark plugs, there's nothing wrong with them. It was just the wires were looking ugly to me. So let's drive it now. We'll see if maybe the secondaries will work since I changed the float height. I think I mentioned that last video, but I haven't driven it since then. So maybe we'll actually be able to get into the secondaries. Here it is with the steering wheel that I restored. I told y'all about that last video, but I haven't shown y'all the finished result yet. Man, it's so much nicer. I also think it needs a new solenoid at the starter. Yeah, I hear that. But she does have power steering. We're gonna see. I'm not sure if it actually goes into first. I'm not sure. I've ran it through the gears several times just here, and it never feels like it grabs first. All right, so that is neutral. That's drive. Now you see there's nothing there. So I think it needs adjusted. That's neutral. Try to open the secondaries here if we can. It did a whole lot better. Well, she made it back to the house. Well, I'm happy to say that the secondaries definitely opened that time whenever I drove. Both times I hit them, I could feel them open, and still got old gas in the system, so I'd need to put new 93 in, but I'm trying to run off some of this old fuel. This car's set for a little while, so I want to say the gas in the back is at least 9 months old, and it's just 87 octane, so we're probably sitting on like 82 or less right now. So that is part of the issue. But the secondaries were the big issue. So I guess really all it took was pulling that needle a good bit of the way out and then readjusting the float, because I believe there was a blockage in there, because I'm telling you, it was not opening at all. It was not fueling. And the floats were very low. So I think it was a twofold issue in that case. But whatever it is, it's out of the system. So that's great news. And guys, stay tuned. I'll be happy to show y'all more of this car in the near future.